Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. You know, when you go camping off-grid and you set your rig up to be off-grid, there's this initial cost that needs to be made so you can have a pleasant time living off-grid or camping off-grid. And that is, you have to invest in your batteries and you have to invest into solar panels. And I've done that here. If you've seen my channel at all, you know that I have Zamp panels and Trojan batteries. But this system I put together in 2017 is coming due for an upgrade. And that means my Trojan batteries have a lifespan of about 8 years. We are on year 8 this year, and I went looking to see about changing them out or maybe upgrading. And I came up with a solution I think that is going to be very good for the camper being off-grid and those emergencies that I have at home. Follow along. Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. There is no adventure today. Today is a video on how I'm upgrading my camper for a little bit more power.
We want a job done right and we want it done quick. What do we need? More power!
So if you follow my channel at all, you know that nearly 90% of the time I am off-grid. No hookups camping. I am always out in rural places like I am now. This is my site at Buck Pond up in Onchayota, New York, which is very up in the northwest corner of the Adirondack. This is a very rural area, no power at all around, so you have to rely on your solar, your batteries, or a generator. So anyways, back in 2017 when I ordered this rig, I ordered it with 2 Trojan T105 batteries and a 500 watt inverter already built into the system. And the Zamp panels were also ordered and came with the camper, and those are 200 watt panels, and they have done a fantastic job over the last 8 years of keeping my Trojan batteries going. Now my batteries are lead acid batteries, so they do need monthly maintenance. You do have to check the level of acid in them and add distilled water when needed. And these batteries have been freaking awesome. Now they are 2600 watts, but I can only use 50% of it, which means I have 1300 watts that I can use daily. And I hope, if the sun shines the next day, that I can replenish it with my Zamp solar panels. Everything has worked great. The inverter has worked great. I have an inverter on one plug in the camper that I run my TV and my laptop off. And for the last 7 years, this is year 8, everything has been working great. I've been very happy with the system. And I've always thought that when the time comes, now Trojan says the lifespan on these batteries are 8 years. This is year 8. If you take care of them, you could probably get 10 years out of them. Well, I think I've taken care of them. I do believe I've taken care of them. So do I really need to change them out? So anyways, last year when I closed up the camper and I took the batteries out, I stored them in the house so they're warm. I thought, well, I better start looking at what it's going to cost me to replace these batteries or upgrade. Now I always had the thought in my head to upgrade when the time came. You know, maybe going, instead of having 2 batteries, maybe going to 4. Well, when I bought this system in 2017, the batteries were $150 a piece, so they were $300. You want to know how much those Trojan batteries are now? $300. And they're $60 now to ship them to me. So for 2 Trojan batteries, T105 batteries, the same exact batteries I have there, was going to be $720. Okay, if I wanted to keep going the way I'm going and know that I have new batteries in the front and everything's good, I got to spend that $720. I won't be upgrading anything because it's just going to be those batteries, what I normally had. So that was option one. Option two, I thought of, well, let's see how much it's going to cost to upgrade. Now, when I say upgrade, I'm adding more power, which would be 2 more batteries. Well, it's $720 for 2, so it's going to be $1,440 for 4 batteries. Plus, I'm going to have to make a new bracket down here to put the batteries on and get a new case. So we're talking probably $1,500 anyways. Plus, I was thinking that I would, instead of having just one plug in the camper on an inverter, I would upgrade my inverter, go to a 1,500 watt or even a 2,000, and have at least 2 plugs on the inverter. Well, that meant buying a new inverter and then cutting into existing wiring. So like I said, when I ordered this, the inverter that's in there was wired in during manufacturing. I didn't put it in. So if I upgraded that inverter to a 2,000 and wanted to add a few more plugs to it, it's going to be snipping of wires. And that could be dangerous for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. I'm not perfect at it. I could probably figure it out, but I would be very nervous because if you wire up one thing wrong, you could fry everything. And that's, I know that from past history because of the fire department. When I was chief of the fire department, we did have a guy monkey with some of the wiring on a truck and happened to fry the radio, the siren box, lights. It was a mess to get it fixed. But anyways, that was option 2, and that option was going to be right around $1,800 is what I figured for, and that was getting to the top of my range of what I would be willing to spend. So I kind of got frustrated with the whole thing, and this was December, and I'm like, well, I'll put it away. I'll look at it again later. I don't need to do it right this minute. At the end of December, in early January, we went down to Florida to Bills Dolphins game, had a great time and everything. But when we came back into a monster January. And what I mean by that is we came back, we didn't have any power at the house. We didn't have any internet at the house. 70, 80 mile an hour winds the beginning of January took out a lot of power lines. So we're running off my Honda generator and my Jackeries. And my Champion generator, I loaned it out to a buddy of mine because they had nothing. And so they ran that Champion for like 22 hours a day. That Champion generator held up well. But anyways, the following week, we ended up with another storm that took out power again. It was heavy wet snow that took out the power and the internet for a few days. So again, we're on generator and the Jackeries. The following week, we had another storm, a lake effect storm with wind that took out the power. Again, no internet, so we're running off the generator and the Jackeries. And then the final week of January, we had a mini ice storm. Again, took out the power, took out the internet, and that was, we ran off the generator and Jackeries again. So what I mean by running off the generators and Jackeries, what we do in those situations, we run the generator during the day to keep the Jackeries charged, shut the generator off at night, and we run off the Jackeries. We have the 300 on our TV system. We have the 500 running our refrigerator. We have the 160, if we have internet, running our Wi-Fi. We have Aladdin lamps for light, and we have the wood stove for heat. So it worked out pretty well, and I was pretty impressed with that. So when I started to revisit looking at upgrading these batteries, I had a thought come into my head, and I said, well, what happens, I wonder if they make a power station that has like an RV plug on it. That way I could plug the camper into the power station, run the entire camper, and I wouldn't need to cut any wires, I wouldn't need to upgrade any batteries, I wouldn't need to upgrade any inverters. It would just run the whole damn camper. And Jackery came out with their 3,000 watt power station that had an RV plug on it. And I got really excited because I'm a big Jackery fan. Loved it. And so I immediately went and checked it out. It was getting good reviews, but the price of it was $2,900. Way out of my price range. I could not go that high on a Jackery. I looked at a few other brands like Blue Eddy and EcoFlow, and they were either more. Blue Eddy was a little bit cheaper than Jackery, but not a lot. So I was kind of discouraged. I'm like, that would be perfect. That would be the perfect solution, because with a power station, when we have those storms, violent storms during the winter or even in summer, I could take the power station and use it in the house to run things in the house instead of running the Jackeries all the time. I could have the Jackeries run a freezer. I could have the new power station run the internet, the lights, the refrigerator, and all the good stuff. Well, anyways, one night I was on YouTube, and I happened to see my buddy Tom, the Hobo Tech, had a video out about this new power station, and it was a brand I've never heard of before. So I decided to go and check out this new power station, and it was a company I've never heard of before. Now, the name of the company, maybe you can pronounce it better than I can, but Oupes. Now, the first time I saw that, the first thing that popped into my head was, it was like, no, that's not the name of it. Maybe it's, but then again, I've heard people call it Oupes. I've heard people call it Oupes. I still don't know how to pronounce the name of it. But as you can tell, I bought one. And how I got this station, this company has an online outlet store on eBay. They put up their new on there, and they put this station normally goes for $1,900. They had a $1,400 reserve on it on eBay. Nobody else bid on it but me, and I got it. $1,400. Now this is a Oupes, we'll call it Oupes, power station. It's a 3,600 watt power station. It has 120 volt pure sine wave inverter in this, and it has 5 plugs, and these are all 20 amp. And then it has the RV plug right here, 30 amp. That is what my camper takes. It also has your 12 volt plug up here, DC, and over here it has your USB plus your USB-C, and that is all DC. And this system has been freaking awesome. So this is my third trip out with the Oupes, whatever we want to call it, I guess. Maybe I just ought to put a name on it and just call it Harvey or Frank or something. Anyways, the third trip out with it. And the first 3 days that I went out with it was in mid-April. We were northern Adirondacks. It was still cold out. During the day it was like 45 degrees. At night it was down in the 20s to low 20s. And I set the thermostat in the camper at 60. And it ran the furnace all night long. Kept the camper between 58 and 62 degrees. I made coffee, ran the coffee pot. I ran the toaster up and had my bagels. And each day I would run, it would take 65% of the unit of the power, which meant I had to charge it up the next day to use it for the next night. Now, right now, I'm only charging it with my Honda generator because I do not have solar panels that will get into this. Now, I can tie my Zamp solar panels into it, but they're really too small to really put any type of charge, meaningful charge into this system. But the last few, this trip and the trip before, I've used this. I haven't had to use the furnace. It's been about 55 degrees at night. Very nice. So right now, I plug the camper in, and I can run any plug in the camper. Theoretically, this can run my air conditioning too. I have not ran it, and I haven't ran the microwave yet either. But I have ran my coffee pot and toaster, and right now I'm using about 50% of this unit at night. And when I say at night is right now I'm only using it at night and I'm charging it during the day with my Honda. The reason for that is it probably go just about 24 hours without charging, and that would be it. But right now it has been running everything that I've thrown at it in the camper. I will be testing it on the microwave, and I think I'm going to get curious enough to see if it will actually run the air conditioner. I don't want to fry my air conditioner, you know, because the worst thing you can do with an air conditioner is underpower it. But according to this and everything that I've read on this unit will run my air conditioner, which we'll find out. But right now, how I'm doing things is until I can get a good feel on this and what I need for solar panels. At some point, maybe I'll get solar panels to put on the roof of the camper and to charge this up during the day so I don't have to run the Honda generator. But right now, by using 50% of the power, which is 1,500 watts a day, it only takes the Honda generator about an hour and 45 minutes to charge this up. When I was using 65% of it, the Honda generator was running about 2 hours and 15 minutes to charge it to 100%. So that's how I'm charging it right now. I'm running, like I said, the computer, the TV, everything that's in the camper. So my phone is being charged, the cameras are being charged by this. And during the day, I shut it off and I will charge it up with the Honda generator. And my solar panels are maintaining the Trojan batteries that are still on the front of my camper. And I run off of them during the day. Now during the day, I'm usually out and about during the day, so the camper doesn't require a lot of power. I have my propane sensor in there, the carbon monoxide detectors in there, the refrigerator's running off of gas, but it still requires some power for the thermostat. The water pump may turn on and off during the day when I wash my hands or flush the toilet or something like that. But during the day, I just run off with my front batteries, and then at night I will plug the camper in, turn it on, and run the camper all night long with this system. And it's been, so far, been very good. I think the night that I used the least so far, I've used like 44% in one night so far, and that was the least I used, but we'll see how this goes. Right now, I just have the cord for the camper running up to the back window because this can't get wet. I don't want it to get wet. And plus, if I leave it outside, somebody just may walk off with it. They'll have a hard time though, because this baby is 83 pounds. Yeah, it ain't light. It ain't light. But even if I got a Jackery unit, that was going to be 62 pounds. So, but I'll give an update later on how the Oupes is doing. Oops, I don't know. Every time I say oops, I just think of I can't help it. But anyways, so far so good. I like how it's charging. There are different rates of charging on this. There's a fast charging that you could do that is 1,800 watts, and it only takes like an hour and 15 minutes to charge up. I have it on the slow charge, which is 800 watts, just because 1,800 watts is a large draw, whether it's you pulling it off an outlet on your house or off the generator. And another thing that's interested on this that I haven't done yet, but I'm going to see if I can try it sometime this year. Some of the campgrounds that have electric car chargers, this has a port on the end for one of those chargers. So I'm kind of curious if I plug it in. It's only going to charge at 800 watts because that's what I have it set for. Because you can go in, there is an app for this. You can go in and you can set whether you want high charging at 1,800 or low charging. I prefer the low charging because, number one, high charging creates a lot of heat. Even though there's a fan system in this, it creates a lot of heat, and heat is not good for these systems. And that's another thing that I worry about a little bit of keeping it in the camper, is that, you know, if the camper gets hot, how is this going to operate? But the camper normally doesn't get above 90 degrees all that often. I usually have the windows open or the screen door open. But I will give an update on how this thing goes later in the year. Alright folks, you watched all the way through. Thanks for that. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button down below. Continue to follow the adventure. And remember folks, tomorrow is no guarantee for any one of us. So disconnect from that Wi-Fi, connect to this out here. You won't be disappointed.